Thanks for staying with us. Joining us on the show now is a respected and highly influential Nigerian-British journalist and media entrepreneur, trainer, and formerly strategic communications advisor. She's recognized as one of the top 5 most influential people in the Nigerian media landscape. She will be speaking about so many things, especially why leadership is not about the position one holds, but about the responsibility one bears to serve and uplift others. Welcome with us, Kadaria Ahmed in the building.
Thank you.
Good to have you.
My sisters. Thank you so much for having me.
So, I mean, well done with all the work you've been doing so far. I mean, I've read quite a few of your articles in recent times. And before you came in, we're talking about the situation of a young woman who was allegedly raped in the police station. And the fact that it seemed to be covered up. In fact, the press release by the Edo State Police Command was about the fact that the officer, the female officer who released the video, is trying to blackmail the accused officer. They didn't mention anything about the rape, what's been done to the girl, what happened, you know, even an investigation concerning the rape was done. So we're a bit taken aback that this is how Nigerian police protects the Nigerian girl. So I will bring that to the other story we're going to come with. But what are your thoughts on this matter? Let me hear your thoughts before we move on to the other matter.
Think about the aberration contained in that sentence, raped in a police station. It's an aberration.
Yes.
There's something abnormal about a community, a society, a country in which the places that are supposed to be safe, that are supposed to enforce law, now become crime scenes. And to make matters worse, instead of those crime scenes to be the place where you then get justice, you would have thought anybody who had the guts to actually rape somebody in a police station would be scared that once it was found out, something will happen to him. The fact that that is not the case suggests that this is not a one-off. That scares me, that actually there's nothing unusual about what has happened. Otherwise, you would have expected the police themselves to be so outraged by what has happened that they would throw the rules book at this particular guy. So it's very disturbing.
Yeah.
It's disturbing and speaks to the wider issue why women like myself came together and set of view, which is, voices for inclusion and equity for women. It is a loose coalition of North Central, Northeast, and Northwestern women who've come together to say, look, it is time we start fostering inclusion, equity, and social justice for women. In the North in particular, we're going through serious conflicts. And while everybody else suffers from these conflicts, the women face a double whammy. Being women means that they are also vulnerable to certain things that maybe others are not vulnerable to. So they are abused, things like sexual assault, physical violence. Misogyny is on steroids because obviously when things are going wrong and men are disturbed, those of them that are not well take out all their frustrations on women, etc., etc. And we're seeing an increase. Just this morning, I was reading about a young girl that was murdered in Bama in Maiduguri by her uncle, who was kept in detention for just 2 months. Now he's been released back into the community, and her mother is having to watch him. And it's not like, this particular case, there was no issue around, or we didn't know. He came into her mother's room with some sort of machete. He had spent the week before saying he's going to kill her because she was disrespectful. She doesn't know how to talk to men. And he chopped her down.
Oh my goodness.
So at some point, people in authority have got to start respecting Section 2 of the Nigerian Constitution, which lays out very clearly what their responsibility is. And I don't want to be misquoted, so please give me a second to quote it directly, right? The section of our Constitution says that the Federal Republic of Nigeria shall be a state based on the principles of democracy and social justice. It is hereby accordingly declared that sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from which a government will derive its powers and authority. But more importantly, the security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government.
Okay, now.
I mean...
That's very, very obvious. But you see, there's a part of this I'd like us to happen, which is related to what happened to Hamadiya Sidi in Sokoto. because it's about the voice of women.
Yes.
You see, there's one thing of raping women, murdering women. Those are heinous crimes. When a woman speaks up and she's still being harassed or still being discriminated against because of her voice, and that's what happened to CD. Give us a bit about that, because she allegedly said that she dared to ask the governor in her state, that's Aliyu Ahmad Sokoto, a simple question. He said if he and his family faced the horrific violence in unspeakable ways, something in front of their families, would he be so indifferent? And that's what got her into trouble. There was a video where I think Hamadia was saying, and I'd like to play this very quickly. It's in Hausa, but I'm sure that Kadaria will help us to interpret. Let's show the video in a second.
Dan Allah ku yi haƙuri. Duk wanda yake ganin na faɗi maganar da bata daidai da ra'ayinsa ba, ko kuma bata daidai da ra'ayinsa ba, ko kuma ka ga na yi rashin kunya ko kuma wani abu, to ku yi haƙuri. Ku yi haƙuri. Kafin na zurfa a cikin bayani na, ina so ku sani wallahi tallahi billahi lazi la ilaha illa huwa, babu wanda ya aiko ni, babu wanda ya sa ni, babu wanda nake wa kamfe, ba kamfe nake yi ba, kuma ni ba jam'iyyar wasu nake kushewa ba.
Okay, so could you tell us exactly what she was?
I mean, the modesty of this girl. So this is the video that got her into trouble.
Right.
Okay. But she actually started it by first apologizing to anybody who might think she's out to offend. You know, that was sort of her first thing. And then making sure that people understand that she does not belong to any political party. She does not have any political grounds. And then she went on to talk about the condition her immediate family is in and relatives, where basically they are being terrorized, women being raped in front of their fathers, in front of their husbands, and asking the governor that, look, is it that you don't know what is going on? Because if you don't know what is going on, I am here to tell you so that you can do something about it. But if you do know what is going on, what are you doing in order to solve this problem? And she basically wanted to bring it home because it's a very important emotive issue. And she said, if this is your daughter or your wife that is constantly, you know, being harassed the way our families are, would you be sitting back in the way that you seem to be doing? It was a call for accountability, which every citizen has a right to do. And yet it has been turned into a call for incitement. As we speak now, she's in court today. Yes, she's been charged by the police with incitement. We are hoping that that case will be thrown out because it has no merit as far as we are concerned. I must confess and be honest to let you know that someone close to the governor of Sokoto State reached out to me a few days ago after we released our statement, saying that the governor is not like that. In fact, he believes in rights and da-da-da-da. He wasn't even in the country when this was done, and he was not the one who authorized it. Okay. And I told that person what I'm going to say again today, that he then needs to therefore distance himself, first and foremost, from that arrest. Okay, let the public know that he had no hand in it, and then become her champion, indeed. You know, and do what he should have done when she raised this issue, which is to engage on the material things that she raised. But this is not acceptable. The use of the state apparatus to muzzle down on people who have voices, who have ideas. I mean, it's crazy.
Let me come to the ladies on this, because I've always said this. There's one area where the leader has a vision. So somebody called you, said, the governor's not like that. So maybe the governor or the leader or the IG or the president, they might have a certain intention, maybe positive intention. But what are they doing? Because somehow it's not being cascaded. Somehow the people working for them are still doing things business as usual. Somehow people don't know that we are trying to change and give women the rights they already have constitutionally. Because for whatever reason, some of these guys in the middle, either the police, either the workers, still feel it's okay to suppress a young girl who is trying to express herself. They feel, and unfortunately when they do that, nothing happens. Nobody gets arrested. So how do we therefore...
So first of all, I will not agree that the governor is not aware. That's my personal opinion.
Okay.
If I am a leader somewhere and my people are going around harassing people for speaking up and all of that, and I see it and I don't do anything, that means I'm in alignment with them. So I think...
But it's more than harassment. She was beaten up as well.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, giving an example of, how this leadership thing works. Most of the things that happen that your people do, and they come back to tell you that they're doing it to protect you and to protect your office. And you are in alignment. You agree because you see it from their own perspective, which... when it now blows out and everybody's complaining, you say that you're not aware. If you're not aware, there are certain steps that you will take. First is to remove... Why is that girl? Why did they arrest that girl? Please, what did she say now? Why are you people getting upset? Did she lie? Where is the lie in what she has spoken? So you will stand up, like you said, be her champion now, and say that everything this girl has said is for us to be accountable to the people that we are working for, the people that we are serving. And you will ensure that even in the courts, they see that this case has no merit and they throw it out. You now have to work twice as hard because your people are already messed up by harassing somebody who decided to speak up for a lot of women. But I have a question for you. I used to feel that probably because of upbringing, culture, religion in the North, the women are mostly suppressed and they're not able to speak out. And I'm happy with this organization that you formed where women can stand up and speak for themselves. But what protects them when they eventually speak? How many men are in support of what you're doing to also give a form of protection to the women who decide to speak up?
Okay, so two things here. I think culturally, Northern women, it's not that they don't so much speak out, but we have different ways. We're raised to sort of sort out conflict slightly differently. Okay. Now, the North that we all grew up in is no longer the North that exists as we speak, because it has now been ravaged by conflict. So in the past, some of these issues might come up, and you will have sort of structures within either the community or the family to help a girl, fight for her rights. Plus, Islam is very clear about female rights, and the North is predominantly Muslim. But you see, when you have conflict, what has happened is even the religious freedoms that have been given to women, people don't respect them anymore. So we have people who are Muslim in name, but they're not actually practicing it. In terms of the alliance we are forming around VIEW, yes, we have male champions. We are speaking to people across a broad group of people that we're advocating, and we're telling them that, look, it is in your interest, in the interest of your communities, that women are safe. Because the problem with president, I keep telling people is, so today you're the IG, and you're busy happily prosecuting people who you feel, are being, have dissent in their voices or are not saying the right things. The day you're not an IG, what happens? You set a president that, allows you to also become a victim. This is the same IG that a few weeks ago was forced to release minors, right? Who basically took to the streets to protest against what they consider hardship. Again, the freedom of speech is right there within our constitution. This man was now forced to sort of, if you like, backtrack. It's the same police force that has now gone and picked up Hamdia Sidi and is saying that she is inciting. At what point does the police become a tool for those in office? At what point is the police supposed to serve regular citizens? So he has to ask himself some serious questions. If his men are giving him a bad rap all around because of overzealousness, he needs to put a stop to it.
Yeah. Because this is... Let me go on a short break. When I come back, I'll start with you, Nima. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.